Hello everyone, I'm Duke James. This is Fez 3.0, and I think it's time to end this campaign. I played for a little bit. I conquered some territory down here from Kanem Bornu and over here from Alwa, but at this point, it's really just taking this stuff. That's the last goal that I have, and I kind of just want to move on to the newest alpha version and play another country. I'm thinking Dai Viet. Gonna play around with that. See how that would go. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end this. So, looking back, some things that I learned in this campaign. You definitely want to spam capitals. So, here's my capital. I built a bunch of capitals. Definitely want to spam them. It's not like 2.52 where you just want one capital in like a region. I think you can spam as many capitals really as you want because it's just the upfront cost and then some maintenance for it, and then that would help immensely to have capitals. Probably for like this country, you would almost want a chain of capitals down this coast. But I've noticed the capitals don't really penetrate that far into provinces. Like there's a level 2 capital here, but only this province has low autonomy. Maybe that's because I didn't build enough pathing and harborages in this province, but you can pretty much have low autonomy far away from your capital. Like there's low autonomy over here. There's somewhat low autonomy over here as well. Same with over here. So you can get autonomy lower everywhere. So I think a chain of capitals would almost be good. And then you definitely want to reform for commerce when you start the game, because commerce is an annoying industry and that can set you back. I kind of took a little bit longer than I needed to get going because of commerce. This is probably, at least right now, in this alpha version, the hardest institution to spawn, because it requires a ton of reforms regarding the burghers. So that's something definitely that I would focus on doing first when I start a campaign. And really, I feel like any country, no matter what country you are in the world, you're gonna want to just assume that you're going to have to invent every institution. Because like casual literacy still hasn't even come over to Asia, and this spawned so long ago. Colombian imports everywhere. This one, unless you're colonizing, you're not going to be able to spawn it. That spreads, I think, pretty quickly. That's pretty much everywhere. Yeah, I think that's everywhere in the world, except like Hawaii. So like that's an easy one. This one, scientific methods, you're going to want to spawn that. Most of these actually after commerce are pretty easy. Like casual literacy and scientific methods have to do with the amount of academic districts and your knowledge production. Global trade is trade values. So most of those, no matter where you are in the world, you should be able to spawn them. Academia also, I believe, yeah, academic districts. So 3 of these are related to your academic districts, so you definitely want to start building those as soon as possible and invest in that. And then Nationalism Industrialization. Yeah, so I think just assume that you're going to have to spawn most of the institutions, maybe not global trade, because you can't spawn that if you're not a... Actually, I think industrialization spawned if you're not a colonizer. Well, it doesn't spawn. Okay, it's industrial. I say spawn. It doesn't. They don't spawn anymore. There's no origin point, so I'm gonna have to remember to change my wording when I talk about those. And then I think the third thing would be that stability. If you're gonna go tall like this, stability is probably your best currency. So you want to try to maximize your amount of stability, because I haven't done a reform in probably 150 years. I didn't really need to. but I'm sure my country could be a lot better than it is right now if I continue to do reforms. But once I started taking provinces, stability was a problem, and I don't think I've gotten to one stability in the last 150 years, so that's why I didn't reform. And then there's a ton of rebellions and stuff, so stability is definitely the best currency if you're going to play this tall, or not tall, wide, I mean. I did do these two I think are pretty good to have. I didn't do these until late in the game, but I think these are good to have at the start, potentially. This one, it's either that one, diplomatic relations, which I think, yeah, this one doesn't unlock until dip tech, or admin tech 20, even though it's a dip thing, it doesn't unlock until tech 20, which is weird. So that's probably something that I'll do from the start. I think I just had this empty for a long time. Monthly autonomy change, I think, is okay for that trade-off, and yearly centralization is okay for that trade-off as well. This one, you're going to probably either do that one or centralization, unless you need missionary strength. And then this one is pretty good for the national unrest. So currency, or stability, is definitely a valuable currency, especially if you have a lot of overextension. And I really like this overextension change. Stability definitely makes you, there's a trade-off now between expanding and doing reforms. You expand too much, you're not going to be able to do reforms. And this also adds corruption and monthly autonomy change, which I think is nice. So without that 0.33 plus 0.338 monthly autonomy change, I think our autonomy would be a lot better. I think a lot of these provinces would be going down without that. So that's definitely better than before, which I think was just money. It just decreased money. I can't even remember. I think it was money for the most part, but don't really need money for your huge empire, because it's pretty easy to get, especially now when you can just loot China and you get 50,000 ducats. I have 250,000 ducats and can't really spend that. I can't spend it faster than I get it. Alright, so now I'm going to look at map modes and the provinces, do a little review of our country. First start with the religion map mode. This is religion. Here's the world religion. I think there's a couple. Brazil was Catholic, which is weird. I managed to convert most of the provinces in the trade regions. Still some provinces over here that have not been converted. For the most part, most of it was converted. Iberia, not so much. These provinces, which I have owned for hundreds of years, were converted. All the other provinces, not so much. Mostly because of the autonomy and the culture of those provinces. These ones I really just conquered, so I wouldn't expect those. These have high autonomy. And then these... I think what I could do, if I wanted to, convert those provinces to switch to... Where is it? This one would give me 3% missionary strength, so I believe most of these provinces over here, Portugal, that area would convert. Some of these provinces as well over there. But we're at what? 86%, so it's not a huge thing for me at least. And then obviously here is the Autonomy Map Mode, which I looked at earlier. Definitely could have built more capitals. The problem with that is you can't, at least I don't know how to build in provinces that are territorial cores, so I'd have to fully core provinces to build industry in them. And I didn't really have the admin to spare for that, so I couldn't build in every single province. There is, there's some way to select provinces without fully coring them, but I didn't know how to deselect those provinces. I could select them, but not deselect them, so they would just stay selected for the rest of the campaign then, which is not good. Because then everything I build in another province would be built in that province as well. Let's see, Imperial Map Mode. I don't know. Does anybody want to see the Imperial Map Mode? Here's a Culture Map Mode. No cultures were changed, as far as I know. I mean, I don't know what to say about this. It's just basic culture. But I know some people in the past wanted to look at this, so here it is. Don't really have much to say about that. Accepted cultures. Just culture over there and a culture down here were accepted. And then Andalusian. I think that was accepted when the empire. We formed an empire. States, metropolitan, unrest. Alright. Let's look at the development map mode. Actually, you know what? I'm going to look at... let's just look at the countries in the world. So... Austria in this campaign actually did pretty good. They conquered a bunch of provinces in the HRE. They conquered Hungary. They didn't die to the Turkish Empire, which was nice for them. Usually in my campaigns, Austria is always a punching bag. The Commonwealth also lived. They haven't done much in the last 200 years, but they're still existing, which is actually pretty good for them. They didn't die to the Turkish Empire. Turkish Empire didn't really do much themselves. They expanded and they kind of got stuck here. I don't think they called me into a war for like 200 years. They, I guess they either couldn't go past the Urartinids or they just didn't want to. But yeah, they kind of got stuck. Genoa actually conquered some provinces over here. Novgorod exists as well. This is kind of a weird campaign if you look at this. Turkish Empire didn't do anything. Commonwealth exists. Novgorod still exists. Muscovy exists, but they're not doing anything. Bohemia got pretty big. I guess Bohemia usually lives. Timurids, I assume, got big and then splintered, but then they were able to conquer back some territory, so they're actually doing pretty okay. China was split into 3. Novgorod's almost reached the coast over here. Japan still fractured, which usually happens. Jaunpur is there. I think that's basic. I didn't do a whole lot in India. I like Gujarat. Released Kaladi, which actually conquered a lot of Vijayanagara. Ceylon took their entire island. I also released Ceylon, and they took the island. And then obviously Africa, I conquered most of this, except Awa and Kanem Bornu. The New World, England actually took a bunch of provinces over here. Almost cut them out. France, I think France took this province from these guys. It's Tech 44, so maybe they just colonized that. I thought I grabbed that province though. Sweden took that province from Brittany. Brittany. This was almost filled in. Alright, development. What is the most developed province in the world? I want to check. It might be Cairo. Cairo has 313 developments. I imagine it's China's game to beat. 288 in that province. 164 up here. We kind of looted. I assume this is Beijing. We looted Beijing. We kind of destroyed that province's hopes and dreams. Yeah, that Cairo is the most developed province in the world, with 313. Followed by, I assume, Pasai at 296, so Cairo just barely edged out Pasai. And then it looks like Alexandria is 163, Tlemcen is 182, Fez is also 163, our capital is only 129, Sibilia is 137. So it goes Cairo, Pasai, and then for us our third is Alexandria. But Cairo and Pasai are the most populous provinces, most developed provinces in the world. Let's go ahead and check out Cairo. Cairo has rank 3 capital, rank 6 amenities, rank 4 garrison, rank 5 irrigation, rank 4 harborage, rank 3 pathing. We make 14 ducats. All of our income this campaign pretty much was from property. Pretty much no taxes, which means this was just Meiou. Meiou and no taxes. Cairo has 2.125 million people, changing by 20,000 a year. There's 600,000 peasants, 1.4 million residents, and then the nobles, burghers, clergy. Who cares about those guys? All sub 50,000, pretty much. The residents in Cairo have 50,000 ducats. They're rich. I think I'll just look at the population numbers. Infrastructure, there's 4,465 industrial units in Cairo. They're making negative money for now. That should actually go positive. So the fact that there's 4,000, you can have a lot of units, a lot of infrastructure units if you invest a lot of money, and then it could just be negative a lot of money. But in this case, they're only negative 45 ducats, so that'll settle around probably above 4,400 units. So that is a massive amount of industry in this province, which is why it has 313 development. The industry is 574 units of wheat, 1,074 units of textile, 1,843 units of carpet, 900 units of processed materials. There's a lot of religious education, almost 1,000 units of religious education in Cairo. So their food output is 643 ducats, 330 units of wheat, 184 units of textile. So its profit, textile industry profit is 200. The carpet industry is what is negative 405. There's also a tiny, tiny sugar industry. An incredibly small sugar industry. It's one guy farming sugar. Alright, going down the list, Pasai is the next developed province in the entire world. There are 1.3 million people living here, growing 15,000 a year. 465,000 peasantry. 769,000 residents. And then all those guys. There's rank 1 capital, rank 6 amenities, rank 5 harborage, rank 6 harborage, rank 5 irrigation, rank 6 pathing, rank 6 garrison, 3,393 units of industry. Their districts make 500 ducats. Huge farmlands, 373 ducats from farmlands. 1,000 units of processed materials, close to 1,000 houseware and textiles. 2,623 units of commerce. So a large commerce industry in this province. Actually didn't do censuses, so I'm going to do a census and then continue. Whoops, didn't mean to hit that. Alright, let's check this out first. We went through the top 2 in the world. Now check out the census. So, tenant size is 51,500. Natural change is 135,000 a year. 4.7 million fighting age men. 1.2 million nomads. 225,000 fighting age nomads. 14,475,000 residents living in our country. Actually positive growth, which is nice. 1.2 million fighting age residents. 1.2 million nobles. 640,000 burghers. 583,000 clergy. Total population 417,655,662 people live in the glorious country of Fez. Wealth, our peasants are poor. That's alright, they live in glorious Fez, they don't need money. Our residents are not poor. They can save a little bit of money. Nobles are rich. That's unfortunate. Burghers are rich. Clergy are rich, which is actually interesting considering the clergy are not that great. Okay, even the clergy. Wait, what? The clergy makes 17,000 ducats. Wow, that's a lot of money the clergy make. The burghers makes 31,000 ducats. The clergy, I thought last time I checked the clergy, which is why that was so surprising, is they made like 6,000 ducats, so they actually, you know what it is? I've been donating to the clergy, so I wonder if it's because I'm giving them money, and that counts as their income. That might be what it is. Because I highly doubt. They don't really own that much. So that might just be me funneling money to them. They own academic, but I can't imagine academic industry in the country makes that much money for them. And then the nobles make 42,000 ducats. Which 42,000 ducats, technically that is all, I assume that's money, most of that is money that we can actually take. Because I imagine a lot of that is from property. Not all of it, but a good amount. There we go. That's 3,500 ducats a month. So if we were making 42,000 a year, we'd be making 3,500 ducats a month. I assume most of that is farmland. I just didn't want to take anything from them. Anyway, that's the estates. I already did that. Let's go back. Industry. Food is negative. It's been negative the entire game. Didn't really matter because we're still growing at, what, 140,000. Probably why our peasants are poor, though. Salt's nice, plus 300. Fiber sucks. We produce a lot of carpets, so that's why that is like that. Fuel and raw materials, also lower. I imagine most tall campaigns will probably have deficits, unless you're really micromanaging, which is... Once I get to a certain point, you don't really need to micromanage, and it also becomes harder once I'm not fully coring provinces, like I mentioned earlier. So, I mean, everything is fine in the end, so... You don't really need to micromanage. You'll just, instead of making 300 ducats, maybe you'll make 400 or 500 ducats. Still not huge in my opinion. But if you want to do that, that's fine. To each his own. Consumer goods actually good. Military goods not good. Naval good. Industrial good. Luxury is good, and knowledge is good as well. So pretty much anything related to the peasants, which we have a lot of peasants, that there's high demand for that stuff. You can pretty much change most of these by investing, except fiber, because fiber really is like a byproduct of the food industry, so You can increase really all of these dramatically by doing targeted investments over and over again, except really fiber. So if I wanted to, I probably could have closed these, but like I said, after a certain point, you know, after 1600, you're pretty much the top dog in the world. So it becomes less important. Alright, couple more. Capital. That says 129 development. Not a whole lot of industry in this province. 207,000 peasants, 366,000 residents. Didn't really get amenities until far into the campaign. My capital was also in Fez, and then I moved it, so neither provinces are really as big as they could have been. But what this province does have is a lot of commerce property. 2.2 thousand commerce property there. Tlemcen has 1.1 million people living in it. The culture in this province is actually converting, apparently. At least that's what it says at the top. 20.69. Nice. There are 200,000 residents. 898,000 residents, 200,000 peasants. Industrial property is see, this is what I'm talking about, 4,311. So like Cairo, it's only 100 industry less, but the profit from the industry is negative 1,107. So that industry size is going to drop a lot because it's not profitable. Whereas Cairo will only drop a little bit because it's only negative 50. This one is negative 1,107. Fez is 163 developments, 980,000 total pops. Would have a lot more residents if the amenities was ever built in this province. Still building the amenities that I think I built 150 years ago. Because they're losing 4,000 residents a year, but there's still more people migrating. 630,000 residents. Property is decent. Big luxury cloth industry, not a really big carpet industry. 20. That never really took off. Siberia is 137 developments. I think I should look at the provinces that are over 100 development. 863,000 people, 366,000 peasants, 472,000 residents. They're also dying in this province. Urban housing, 200,000. I think I tried to build. Yeah, I'm building amenities. Decent industry, decent commerce as well. The urban industry is pretty much spread out. Commerce is decent, 725 ducats. I think Tunis, yeah, Tunis is above 100, 121, 533,000 people living here, 421,000 residents. Its amenities rank 5, so it could have gotten more. There's 4,500 people moving here. Industry is negative 768. I'm pretty sure that's because I put 1,000 ducat investments into all of these industries. So this, with enough time, would have a lot of residents moving into it, so that would reduce employment and increase output, which would help with profitability, get that to positive. Pretty big carpet industry in this province, 1,335 units. Pretty good commerce industry as well. Commerce makes 1,166 this year. Commerce obviously fluctuates a lot, so what it makes now is not going to be what it makes next year. Might be more, might be less. Might be way less, actually. Alright, any other provinces above 100? I never actually got Lisbon fully cored, so I didn't really build anything here. All of this is just what the province itself did. I might have done some investments, mostly automatic investments, so I think that helped it along, but I never actually built any of these. But it did manage to get amenities rank 6 and a harborage rank 6, and irrigation, pathing, and garrisons rank 5, so this province actually did pretty good for itself. pretty good by itself. There are actually only 476,000 people here, 225,000 peasants, 220,000 residents. Its industry is negative, good commerce, good farmlands actually. 1,118 ducats from commerce this year, dominant center of trade. Yolof is 147 development. I didn't even realize that. That's pretty good, actually. This province has amenities rank 5, garrison and irrigation, and pathing rank 4. Level 3 center of trade. 878,000 people live in it, 356,000 peasants, 500,000 residents. There's about 10,000 people moving into this province every year. Pretty good industry. 1,283 units, and I haven't done any investments because I didn't realize this province was doing so well, so it's actually making 550 ducats a year from its industry. That is actually evenly split pretty much between textiles, luxury cloth, and processed materials. Decent commerce, pretty good higher education at 268. Doesn't make a whole lot from commerce this year. Probably one of the down years. Only 143 ducats, 13 ducats profit, so that's definitely one of the down years for that province. Let's see, any other provinces above 100? Ah, yes, I think Maputo, and then maybe a couple Indian provinces. This province has 106 development. 97 of that is from the urban development, urban industry. There are 225,000 people living here, 92,000 residents, 107,000 peasantry. No academic industry. I think that's because all of these slots were filled, so I couldn't actually open up academic industry in this province. Industry is decent, 550 make 95 ducats. Commerce property is where this province excels, though. 1,628 commerce. This year, plus 1,152 ducats. Decent houseware and textile industries. This year, they make a 2,224 ducats from commerce. South Africa is definitely pretty good for commerce because it captures that some Asian commerce as it comes over. So this province is pretty decent in that regard. 25,000 burghers living here. Let's see, what's Zenji Bar at? 120, okay. Did not think that would be above 120. Above 100. So there's 487,000 people living here, 156,000 peasants, 300,000 residents. Rank 5 amenities, rank 2 capital, rank 6 garrison, rank 5 irrigation, rank 6 harborage, rank 6 pathing. Not sure how good pathing is in an island. Technically, I mean, for the island itself it would be good, but it's really just province to province. In Meiou and Taxes. Industry is pretty good, it's negative though. Commerce is pretty good. Pretty decent textile industry, 600 units. Commerce, 1,138 ducats. Dominant center of trade. Alright, probably just this province. Oh, no, that province is not over 100. Okay. I conquered these provinces pretty late in the campaign, so... No Indian province that we own is above 100. Really just Cochin. I believe this is Cochin. Unless this is Cochin. Different names. This province has massive negative industry. Yeah, let's not look at that province. That province is 79, so that did not get there. Palembang, 71. Bone and Luzon, no. Yeah, so I'm not going to look at anything that's below 100 because it's not special, really. Here's the trade map mode. Just to... Oh, wait a minute. These provinces. Would you look at that? Both of these provinces are 102. Didn't even see them. I assume these provinces are sister provinces, pretty much. 400,000 people there. 329,000 there. Okay, so there's actually more people in Tangier. There's 269,000 residents. Rank 4 amenities. Rank 6 garrison. Rank 6 irrigation. Rank 3 harborage. Rank 1 capital. Rank 6 pathing. This is kind of the same, except no capital. Pathing is a little bit less, and irrigation is less. They're both dominant centers of trade. Not great district-wise. Neither of them. Must be a commerce property. Yeah, their commerce units, commerce industries are 1,783 in Tangier and 1,912 in Sabta. So that's really where that money is coming from. They have 27,000 burgers there and 28,000 burgers there. Yeah, I didn't even really realize those provinces. Also, Marrakesh is 98, so they almost got there. 300,000 residents. Not great infrastructure. Only minor center of trade. And Aragon kind of sucks, so their provinces weren't that great. Alright, so I think that's it. Oh, and then I guess just briefly go over my vassals, I guess. Toulouse was a vassal, Lyon was a vassal, Katsina was a vassal, Rwanda was a vassal, Manica was a vassal. And then I was annexing Lyon. I also had these provinces up here in Ireland. I don't think those are anywhere near... Yeah, those aren't really near 100. And then obviously all of these guys were vassals as well. So this is what our country expanded to. In terms of goals, I completed the goals except for this area right here. Because the goal was Iberia, and then all of Africa, and then over here was just random conquerings. So, yeah, I think that's it for this campaign. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Goodbye. I'll probably do, actually after this, I'll do a time-lapse video. So after that one, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.